right. According to my clock, it's 12:01. So we'll go ahead and get things kicked off. Good afternoon, good evening, or good morning, everyone. My name is Scott Anton with Gideon Taylor, and I am really excited to be kicking off this month's Lunch and Learn featuring City Colleges of Chicago. And the title of our session is Click, Search, Enroll, Transforming Continuing Education with Web UX and eForms. This is one that I have really been waiting for. It's been a long time coming. We've been working with the City College of Chicago for the better part of this year, helping them automate a fully integrated continuing ed solution inside PeopleSoft. So we're excited to share the results of that and what CCC has achieved with this new solution. Let me take care of a little bit of housekeeping. We are recording this. So everybody will receive a link to the recording probably sometime next week after the webinar wraps up. You can go ahead and share that with others at your leisure. We host these lunch and learns on a monthly basis, and they always feature innovative solutions. Those might be solutions that we've been working with clients on, or innovative solutions that clients have built themselves. They might also be new things that are coming out from Gideon Taylor, whether those are eForms or Web UX, two of the things that we're going to be featuring today as part of CCC's solution. IDA, our digital assistant, embedded AI and PeopleSoft is another thing that is coming up very quickly for us, and we're excited to debut that this fall. So a lot of really cool things, and I encourage you to join us for these each month and learn something new and see what the options and the opportunities are available to you within PeopleSoft and beyond. I think if you have questions as we go along, go ahead and post those in the chat or in the Q&A. We'll be monitoring that as we go. And at this point, I'm going to go ahead and introduce the Gideon Taylor team, and then I'm going to hand it over to the folks at City Colleges to introduce themselves. And I will let you know that this is the largest team of speakers that we've ever had on a Lunch and Learn. So congratulations, everyone. Good luck. I'll go ahead and introduce the GT folks. Chuck Ritchie was the solution architect on the project, Cash Staley, senior technical analyst, and Sean Brett, senior business analyst. And with that, who would like to take the reins at CCC and kick us off with a round of introductions? Robert?
Good morning. I'll start.
Corey.
Anyone else? Good morning. My name is Corey Rowland, District Director of PeopleSoft Applications here at the City Colleges of Chicago.
I can go. Robert Clark, Executive Director of Continuing Education and Customized Training. So I oversee strategy and operations for our 7 colleges' continuing education departments.
My name's Jim Margaritas. I'm the project manager working on the City Colleges side for this project.
I'm Laura Clark, Associate Vice Chancellor of Academic Systems, Records, and Policy at the district office.
Hey, Leo Papolis, Senior Academic Systems Analyst.
And I think that might be it.
Crystal's here.
Oh, Crystal, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. My name is Crystal Cardenas, and I'm the Academic Systems Analyst for Continuing Education.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, everyone. And at this point, Sean, am I passing the baton to you?
You are. I'll take it.
Great.
All right. Welcome, everyone. Super excited to show you the stuff that we put together for this solution. So the agenda for today, what we're going to go over is an overview of the project, kind of what it looks like currently and what it's going to be turning into very shortly. The planning and implementation for this process and the solution and everything that we went through and the timeline that it took to get this together. We'll take a look at the notable features. So I'll kind of mention this whenever we get to it, but you know, an e-commerce solution is very different than trying to get someone registered in campus solutions with all the stuff that happens in campus solutions. So we'll look at how we integrated some features and special data points in CS that you have to be aware of whenever you're implementing something like this. This solution does account for, like, anyone in the world could go to this course search and register for courses. In addition to people that are already part of City Colleges of Chicago and may already have an account. And then I'll talk about how we are updating campus solutions. So there's minimal manual processing needed for this solution. And our tool in the latest version of eForms, we're using Configurable CI to actually execute all the different component interfaces that have to happen when you have a brand new person coming into Campus Solutions and registering for courses. And then plenty of time for Q&A. All right, so just an overview of the project. If any CCC folks want to jump in and point anything out that I may have missed or special pain points along the way, let me know. But as we talked, as we went through discovery and got to know how things were going, the current process that was in place was pretty convoluted, with a good quarter of staff time spent manually enrolling students. And we'll kind of look at how that looks. Students, visit a website. They may have to come in person to register. They may have had to fill out a Microsoft form to register. A lot of manual processing with current process, costing approximately $10 a student to do that manual enrollment if they came in person or made the call to get the registration done. Portions of it are online unless you have particularly tech-savvy students. It could prove to be a little bit difficult for some folks. And then an estimated $250,000 worth of revenue left on the table for low enrollment or having to cancel courses because of low enrollment. So the objectives for this was to really create an e-commerce-like solution for registering into Campus Solutions, something that's streamlined, something that people could go to the website, search for courses, complete their registration all in one session when possible, so that there's not a lot of back and forth. There's not a lot of time spent working through issues, working through registrations, running into hold problems, all those sorts of things. And then for our high-level requirements, Campus Solution specific stuff, right? You go to Amazon, you don't have to worry about things like, are you already enrolled in the course? Or is it conflicting with something that's already on your schedule? Being able to integrate with their payment gateway so that you can make a payment directly from the process. You have to worry about things like search match. So if someone comes in to register for a course, you don't want to create duplicate accounts in your Campus Solution system whenever they're going through this sort of a process. The other things that go with it, like SSO integration, and then being able to do everything from start to finish that you would normally do with the student that would come into your office through component interfaces. So admitting them, getting the program plan stack created, getting them enrolled, getting tuition calculated, getting their account created, all of those things in one pass. All right. So the previous system, or what's in place today, is students or prospective students would typically go to the CCC website, and there's a place where they can apply for their continuing education. So they would go through this process to complete the application. It's separated from actually registering in courses. Go through this, create an account, all the processes in place to get that portion completed. From there, they can then, now that they have an account, now that they're in PeopleSoft, they can go and do their course search and register for courses. Or maybe some people would do the course search first, find something that they like, and then find out that they have to go through the application process to get their accounts created. Once they found a course that they like, and once they're in the system, you either have to go in person to register, call somebody up to register, fill out something like this Microsoft form where they could select which class they're interested in. That would go to someone, follow up, register for classes. There's a lot that can happen between the time a student applies for continuing education, by the time they pick their course, and then by the time they actually get in to finish the registration process. Classes close, last date to enrolls expire, holds go on accounts, all sorts of different things that could interfere with this process along the way. So what we had in mind, the vision for it really, is having that one seamless process to get around all those different issues that you might run into for that sort of manual enrollment process. So we want the ability to be able to search for classes and add those courses to the cart. We want that available to people that don't currently exist with an account at CCC. and those that are already there, whether they're existing students or faculty or staff that want to take some of these courses. From there, we don't want them to just pick what they like, print it out, and take it into someone to enroll. We wanted to direct them to an actual cart where some validations get fired, error checking, those sorts of things that you would see like in the quick enroll process, classes get full, holds on your account, all those sorts of things. And then be able to handle those brand new people. So sort of that application that you saw on the previous screen is built into this process as well, so that new students can apply, go through their cart payment all in one go. All right. And then sort of the process for how we got through this start to finish. Started around April or May, I think, with our discovery sessions, onboarding, going through some of the initial design, talking about what works, what doesn't work, how we need to build this thing out to make it work for CCC. Around June, made it through our first pass of development. eForm side and the search side, laying fields out, actually getting the component interfaces up and running pretty early in the process, getting the course indexing process going, and building out that basic framework. Going into July, we had our next development pass for some extra stuff, more form logic, search logic in the core search, being able to dynamically pull data from campus solutions, showing things like common attributes, class notes, dates, all the different things that you might want to pull into the search to display. August, September, we've got our third pass of development, hooking up security, getting the navigation working, any change requests that have come up along the way. And then now going into October, November, we're actually in the middle of UAT right now, with hopes to go live very quickly. So we're looking at about a 6-month process from beginning to end to get a solution like this implemented. All right, so how did we accomplish this? 2 of our GT offerings working together seamlessly to support the continuing ed enrollment. And this is all done within the framework of PeopleSoft. So there's no third-party applications here. There's no extra integrations that you have to worry about. Both of these products are built into PeopleSoft using the frameworks that we provide. So the search side of things allow for a public-facing solution that uses PeopleSoft search framework to index the courses that need to appear in search and pull those data points from like maintain schedule of classes, to pull common attributes that we've set up for some of these courses, class notes, a lot of sort of things that are specific to CCC to make it work the way that it needed to, and then integration with real-time data points. So we need to know, like a once-a-day index isn't good enough to know that seats have been filled in courses when students go to enroll. We needed to know, we wanted to be able to, I'll show you in a minute, tuition calculation. We want to show courses that are available for a term, but if those sorts of controls aren't set up yet, we don't want to let students register in them. So a lot of that back-end stuff to watch out for. On the eForm side, that provides the actual application that new students can go through. It has search match functionality built into it, both automatic and manual search matches when needed. Existing students, whether they have a continuing ed program plan stack, or they're just a credit student that doesn't have that yet, the eForm will handle creating their program plan stack, putting them in the right program, readmitting them if they need to, or just doing a brand new stack. And so some of the things that make this unique, because it is campus solutions and it's got its own interesting parts to watch out for. On the left, we've got our Search 2.0 side. So you'll see in a minute, lots of custom branding to make it stand out. You wouldn't know you're in PeopleSoft unless you just happen to know. Those checks for available seats, class status, are they open, are they closed? We're using Common Attribute Framework to pull in some extra marketing material like URL, keywords that can be used for search, extra description that we wanted to include. Again, like I mentioned, it'll prevent enrollment if tuition calc is not yet set up for a term, but we can still display those classes so students know that they will be available. And because it is open to pretty much everyone, wanted to put a limit in place so that guest users, just a random person coming in, can't add like 30 courses to their cart and proceed through to checkout. Kind of wanted to put some restraints on that. For the eForm side, does have workflow, although it is minimal manual intervention. There are times when the search match process will find someone that it needs to match to. And someone needs to do that manually, all built within the forms process. There are times where a student may choose to, they don't want to pay online, they want to come in and pay in person. So there's a workflow step to be able to handle that situation. CCC has some cool offerings for their continuing ed enrollment. So in some cases, like the first course that you take, if it's an eligible course, that course might be covered for you. Employers might be paying for certain courses. Grants, there are all sorts of different things that may count as sort of a discount for students. So those are incorporated into the cart logic as well. If you're an existing student, you're trying to register for classes, but you have some hold on your account, it will let you know that you have a hold on your account, and you can choose to take care of those or go in person, take care, and then come back and continue searching. All the validations that you typically expect for quick enroll, time conflicts, duplicate courses, you're already enrolled, course is full, you've added something to your cart and you came back to it and now you can't enroll because the last date to enroll is passed. All those validation checks are there on the cart, and then an immediate access to the payment system. So if you say you're going to pay online, once the component interfaces are done and you're in the system, you can click a button, go into the payment gateway, configure your account if you need to, and make a payment right then and there. Right. So on the search side, we've got a video here. I will try to pause as we run into things. Before I kick this off, this is what it looks like. So come to a public-facing page. You can do a search for courses. You've got your cart that will keep track of things that you're adding. The thing to note here is, like, if you're a logged in user and you shop from multiple browsers, it will track the different courses that you've added to your cart across those different sessions. All right, so here we're going to search for Spanish. We've got two versions. One of them, I'll slow this down. You'll see here it brings up a search. Click a course, it brings up the course details from that. From where we can pull in course information, class number, course ID, the description for the course, any class notes that are set up for that course. If this one had common attributes associated with it, those would pull in here too. We've got branding to show the college, the subject, location information, dynamic information about enrollment status and seats available, fees, instructors, a layout of the schedule, and then the ability to add it to the cart. All right. Won't let you add the same thing more than once. Here, it's Conversational Spanish 3. This one happens to be a Spring 2026 course. So you'll note something here. Clicked on it, but add to cart's not available. So this is one of those situations where tuition calculation for spring hasn't been set up yet. Students can see that it's going to be available soon, but to prevent any sort of issues with tuition calc, they're not able to add this particular one to their cart just yet. And as soon as those controls are set up, this course will be available to register for. All right, the cart itself, pulling in some general information for the class so students know what they have on their plate, the fees associated with it. Course fees are accounted for, class fees are accounted for, and then a running total based on what they have in their cart. All right, real quick from here. We came here as a brand new person. We're not logged in or authenticated. So you have the option to either check out as a guest, or you can log in and check out if you have a CCC account. All right, tons of search options here. So just doing an open search, you have sorts by things like subject, course title, college, start date. You have the facets that are built into the search index for the different terms that have been indexed to narrow down the courses for those specific terms. Also have facets here for the various subjects that are offered. And of course, clicking on any of those will filter out the list by what is selected. Each college kind of had its own branding associated with that, so you can see that reflected in the different colors that show for each one. And then extra facets for mode of instruction and the location that the course is offered at. All right, I think I had this here just as a little bit longer time to spend on the course details. Same information that's pulling in here. Some of these might have a split schedule. I don't know if I captured one of those here, where it might be offered, the same section might be split across multiple days. Maybe you have a Saturday, same course that's held on a Saturday from 9 to noon, and maybe they also meet on like a Wednesday from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Those will all be displayed here also. And of course, I'm going to encourage everyone on the call to go check out this and register for some courses once this is live so you can get into some of these cool classes. Yeah. So there's an advanced search. We tweaked this quite a bit since this video, but it allows you to go in and kind of fine tune how you want to search for your classes. So you can search by date, you can search by term, subject. It's a keyword search. It can be, you know, sort of any version if you're looking for a cybersecurity class. Depending on what you type in, you can get your results back for exactly what it is that you're looking for. All right, toggle for open and classes only, and then there's also a toggle to show or hide the class descriptions if you want a more concise version. That covered for the course search. Chuck, was there anything that you wanted to mention while I'm on this?
No, I think you covered a lot of it. Kind of from the front end, where like the shopping cart's using Oracle Jet, and when you are in mobile view, it changes to like a card layout. So it's got some different visual cues based on the size of the device you're coming in on. But yeah, overall, I think you covered most of the points on the search piece.
All right, thanks. All right, then for the eForm side of things, so kind of have two versions of this that I'm going to walk you through. One is whenever you already have an account and you choose to log in, and then the other is going to be whenever you don't yet have an account and you want to go through the process of applying to attend at CCC. So this is a version for an authenticated user. They chose the login option, or in this case, they're actually already logged in, so the only option that they have is to check out. All right, right here. This takes them immediately to their cart within an eForm that's in Campus Solutions. So it will identify who they are, show which courses they had in their cart. There's a little details link that will show them some more details about their course. Fee information, there's this option to use a waiver code. So we're actually implementing permission lists as a mechanism to sort of reduce the total amount that a student might need to account for it. It sort of acts as like a discount code in this case. They can choose their primary location that they're going to attend at, gives them information about their amount. There are all sorts of things in place here that if all of their courses are paid for, messaging shows up that says, hey, your courses are covered. You don't owe anything today. It accounts for being on a payment plan, depending on which terms you're in, all the validations that happen here. There's an error. I didn't actually catch it here, but there's a extra column for errors that shows up if there's a course conflict, or if you can't enroll because the last date passed, or if the class is full now, those sorts of things. You can also choose to keep shopping from this point. There's our options. And this person's going to elect to pay online now. So there's some information that shows up. Enroll now at this point fires off the component interfaces that need to happen for this student. Things like term activation, things like quick enroll, tuition calculation. And we've got this nifty little progress bar that kind of gives them an idea that, hey, things are happening. It's kind of like waiting for a pizza. And because they chose to pay online, now they have this pay now button, which immediately opens up the payment gateway. If they don't have an account, they can create one here. If they already have an account, it's going to log them in and they can make their payments directly through as they would if they were to access self-service in Campus Solutions. All right. The next version is for the guest user. Guest user has a little bit more work that they have to complete. So they are going to elect to check out as a guest. We've got some account verification things in place to make sure that they enter an email address that they can access. They will get an email verification code, which I think I'll show right now. Has some controls around it. They have to use it within 10 minutes, all those sorts of things. Then confirming the code opens up the rest of the form where they can provide the information that's necessary to perform a search match and to create their account in the system. So there's various validations on this page. Birthday can't be the same day you're trying to apply here. All right, cool thing here. This continue as new student. What's actually happening is there's an automatic search match that's happening in the background. So if it says, hey, you're already an existing active student, we're going to force you to log in at that point. If you're not, then you can proceed to this page to fill out the rest of the biodemo information that is needed. Setting things like primary location, eForms Assistant is incorporated into this form so that if students have questions, what exactly am I supposed to be putting on some of these fields? They can ask the eForms Assistant for help. Spot here for emergency contact info. And then just some other biodemo information. Again, lots of validations built into this page. They can't leave things blank. They've got to pick an ethnicity. From here, though, I'll stop it right there. If they made it to that page, that means they're either a brand new person that the system didn't find at all, or they found multiple people that they could have matched to. So if it found multiple people, it would have routed them to an individual, an actual staff member, to do the manual search match to see if they should match it to an existing student or if this actually is a new person, at which point, once that match is done, the student can pick up from an email link and come straight back into their cart. In this case, this was a brand new person, didn't find any matches, allowed them to go straight to their cart. In this case, they have a couple of courses here that have some errors. So one's got a time conflict. One has passed the last day to enroll. Yeah, so from here, they've made it through, like as a brand new person, their application's done at this point. They can go ahead and finish registering for their courses. All right, one of the very cool things, I think this was maybe the first major project that I've gotten to use this tool on, is this Configurable CI. So it's one of our newer features. I would highly encourage you, if you don't have the latest version of the framework, to get this installed so that you have access to it. If you're not familiar with it, the Configurable CI tool lets functional users configure component interfaces with minimal developer intervention. I say that with an asterisk because this is Campus Solutions. And in this case, we're updating 9 different components based on what's happening in the form. They're not all happening at the same time. So if you're a brand new person, you have to go through Quick Admit to get those things created. If you're an existing person, it's not going to execute quick admit. It's going to go through and maybe it needs to do some adjustments on your program plan. Term activation, quick enroll, tuition calc, all those things that have to happen. So nine different component interface used across 11 different steps in the configurable CI tool. For this one, it turned out, I would say a rough guess, it's maybe 50-50 configurable versus code. So although it's a configurable CI tool, you can incorporate people code. You can call up your developer friends for those super complex ones. And if you've ever tried to do a component interface in Campus Solutions, some of these components just don't lend themselves very well to CI. So Cash and Andy, our techs on the team, were able to work their magic to get these operable in the config CI tool, along with some of the functional configuration that we're able to do for it. So super cool. All this executes as soon as they hit that enroll now button. All right, I think that covers most of the actual solution that I wanted to show. So plenty of time here for questions, input from a GT team or a CCC team.
Well, the only thing I'd add is it's really been great working with GT on this. I have to admit, when I saw the 6-month implementation timeline, I wasn't entirely sure that it was going to work out, but it really has been a great team to work with. Very responsive. There's a lot of customization that we've been able to do. So very happy to start using it.
Robert, while we have you, I was wondering if you could speak a little bit to, I know you've shared along the way some of the goals of your marketing team and how you guys are planning to drive some revenue in future versions or kind of next steps. Is there any chance you would be willing to talk through some of those kind of wish list items that you guys have, or bigger plans of how you are going to use this to drive higher enrollment in the future?
Sure, I can answer a little bit of that. So right now, our system is not set up to be widely distributable and usable. One of the things that we're very happy with is the ability to categorize courses and to use deep links for courses. One of my plans moving forward is to really activate all of the organizations that are present in Chicago, like the Learys, the CDCs, the Chambers of Commerce, the community organizations, and push out the fact that we have all of the courses that we do, because once this is implemented, they'll be able to categorize them, search them, register for them without have it flooding, to be honest, our continuing ed teams. I think that's going to be a huge force multiplier for us, is just the ability to get links to specific courses and categories of courses out to the public. What sort of revenue generation that's going to do? Impossible to tell. Our operating model right now is so different than what it's going to be in the future. I really couldn't tell you. In 2020, our revenue was $450,000. Last year was 1.9 million. That's without this new system. So I don't know, maybe 3 million next year. We'll see.
I think you guys will hit it. I love this solution. It looks amazing.
Yeah, I think one thing that I didn't mention that I wanted to point out is that going through this with a standard transaction, if you're already a student, you're just going straight from search through the enrollment process. It's anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes to complete your registration. A little bit longer if you're a brand new person, but compared to, I don't even know how that compares to having to go in manually for a student to come into the office, talk to someone, find time in their day to register for a course. Being able to get that down to 10 minutes or less is pretty cool.
Yeah, days. Payment is also a huge thing that's being simplified by this. We had just volumes of instructions on how to operate our systems, and people are not looking for instructions on how to buy things. They want the Amazon e-commerce experience, and that's what this is going to give us.
Since no one else is asking questions, Chuck, I have a question for you. I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about how the Search 2.0 product works, the class search. I know we showed it in the continuing education side of the house here, but I believe you guys have implemented that as well on just in a more generic kind of campus class search. Could you add more?
Yeah, I can talk about that a bit. So, so really the class search, it's built with their Search 2.0 framework, which leverages the PeopleSoft search framework. So, so really behind the scenes, everything's currently open search. And so we have a number of views getting all the various different attributes and fields and everything we want to search on, or to have like search on marketing keywords, things like that. And then the actual results come back. Like our library has, we're basically using their SDK, so we can tap into some features that sometimes isn't available on screen with normal searches. But and then the results basically come back, and we have a JSON payload with all the results, which we have our web UX has a JSON templating library. So that's how we can actually kind of update the visual appearance with the results, and the modal with the class details and everything like that. And like I mentioned earlier, the actual checkout process, that's using Oracle Jets framework. So that's a lot. Oracle's using that more with some of their Oracle Fusion apps, and it has like the Redwood themes, and then we have it rebranded to meet the CCC styles. So worked closely with their marketing team, and they have provided a lot of great design input. So we were able to really kind of match their branding style. And then that Oracle Jet framework does allow us to do like a lot of dynamic real-time custom stuff where as the search results are kind of added from there, it's dynamically updating the tag and doing everything. So it's a great tool set that kind of accounts for accessibility and for responsiveness. So, and I know accessibility will be important with the new rules coming out next year.
I see that there's a question in the chat. How does the program plan piece work? How do you tie courses to program plans and have students adjust?
Sure. So I'll start this one, and then if Leo or anyone else at CCC wants to fill in the gaps for me. So all of the continuing ed students at CCC fall under a specific program and career. So there's a continuing ed career specific program code that they all go under. And then any new students, whenever they get quick admitted, they get quick admitted into that career and program. Any existing students that don't already have that on their stack will get that created on their stack. And then there are those cases of students that were continuing ed and were discontinued or aren't no longer active, so they would get readmitted. So yeah, any other details anyone wants to fill in, go for it.
I think you covered it. Yeah. So yeah, we have our own career, and then they get activated with the program action of activate, or if they already exist but inactive, they get a readmit row on top of that. Or if they're completed, they'll get a new career number created. And then the term activation happens, and it ties to the career number that was either activated or readmitted. So that's how the class is tied to the CPP stack. And then you said, like, how does students have students adjust? I don't know if you mean like dropping classes or anything like that, but then they could, once they're enrolled, then they go into their portal and they can see their classes that they're enrolled in, and they could drop classes there. But the page that was built by GT is for adding classes and becoming an active student.
I'm just going to thank Joanna for her comment. And I'll read it for those of you who may not have seen it. That is as slick as any SaaS demo I've seen. Kudos to the team, showing a lot can still be done with Campus Solutions. This is a lot of work, testing, coffee to get this many pieces running smoothly. And it brings up a really good point that a lot of people think of GTE Forms as a tool to build automated forms. And that's in its name. But over the years, organizations have embraced it as an application development tool and built out really robust workflow-enabled mobile applications like CCC's Continuing Ed solution, like University of Oklahoma's grants pre-award management solution. So I encourage you, whether you're a GTE Forms user today or whether it's a tool that you've been thinking about, think of it as a whiteboard, complete greenfield in terms of what you can imagine doing with it and how you can extend PeopleSoft to do so much more than it does today, or develop solutions that allow you to use PeopleSoft the way that your organization would want to use it. There are organizations like the University of South Carolina that used GTE Forms to fundamentally transform the user experience with PeopleSoft HCM. So 86% of all interactions with PeopleSoft are through eForms as opposed to delivered PeopleSoft pages. So think of those things and open up your mind in terms of what the possibilities and the opportunities might be for your organization. There's a lot of really cool stuff being done out there. And these solutions, there might be parts of this solution taken in pieces or taken as a whole that you might be interested in considering for your organization. So if this is a solution that looks exciting to you, by all means, let us know. We're more than happy to give you an idea of what it might take to leverage pieces and parts of CCC's solution and help you build out your own custom solution for your institution. This is really cool. Any other questions? Any other comments from the GT or the CCC teams?
I would just, as Robert said, I would appreciate that. Thanks for easy to work with. I'd say the same for the CCC team. They've all been great. The folks that are on the call here is just a small number of everyone that's been involved with testing and getting this up and running. So we definitely appreciate the work.
Yeah. And we appreciate the vision. Really cool solution. And the fact that this is something that CCC kind of envisioned from the ground up. That's exciting. Sean, why don't you go ahead and flip to the next screen? And again, if people have questions, by all means, pop those in the chat. Alicia, do you want to come off mute and tell folks about the upcoming Lunch and Learns?
Yeah, absolutely. Hey all, I'm Alicia Malcarney with Gideon Taylor. Just wanted to share a couple of things that we have upcoming. We hope you'll join us for these events. So Lunch and Learns, this same time, same place. We do it the third Thursday, I believe it is. So we've got one scheduled for November. December will be a little bit earlier because of the holidays. So our November session will be focused on, will be our lovely Jay Jorgensen and others from our GT team. Those of you that are Jay fans, you know you'll want to be there. He's going to be sharing what's new, what's next, particularly with the release that is coming out, scheduled to come out in November. So that will be a great session for our eForms users to come and learn what new and exciting things you can expect in this new release. In December, then, we will hear from the state of North Dakota. They have put together this, they have created these really wonderful and awesome insight boards that they're using to help with their intern funding. And it's a really robust process that they put together to use those insight boards for actionable results to really help them manage this complex process. So it's a really great way to to see what's possible when it comes to these insight boards. It's more than just pretty graphics, and they've really shown and proved that out with this with these boards that they have put together and that they're utilizing. So highly encourage that you attend both of those and join us for these last final sessions, Lunch and Learns of the year. And Sean, if you want to go to the next one, I will also cover our upcoming training classes. So we are winding down. You'll notice for months it's been 2-column. We're kind of winding down what we've got for the remainder of the year. So a couple of key ones coming up. You don't see listed on here, but if you have anybody that needs to participate or attend intro training, we are doing that next week. That's our pay per seat. So if that's our full length, week long, really in depth, get somebody started from the ground up learning e-forms. You can purchase a seat in that class, so it's easy if you've got one or two team members that really need that training. Next week is when we do that. So typically we close that registration, but we do have a couple open spots. If there's anybody that needs that, just reach out. We'd be happy to add your team member into that training next week. And then just some of our other ongoing advanced trainings, batch tool, developer tools. This one's really great if you've got developers and even non-developers that want to be more familiar with some of the tools that are out there to help as you're developing forms, as you're troubleshooting them. That's really what that course is covering, is the tools that are provided that often we don't get to with our intro training. So this is that advanced next step, learning about some of those tools. And of course, workflow, config CI that Sean talked about today. We've got one November 10th. So if you are interested in learning hands-on, this is hands-on learning, so you can get into our training environment and build out configurable CIs in that safe training environment, and then be prepared and ready to go build that within your organization. I think that's the main ones I'll point out. Scott, I'll toss it back to you.
Sounds good. So we've got a really busy month for October. One of the conferences that we have going on that Gideon Taylor is a big sponsor of is the Reconnect conference coming up at the last week of this month. If you haven't signed up for Reconnect, we encourage you to check it out. It is focused entirely on PeopleSoft across HCM, financials, and campus solutions. A whole week of tips and tricks and how-tos and roadmap sessions from Oracle. So some great content. Gideon Taylor has some sessions talking about transforming in place, where you can think about and envision how you can transform your organization and your enterprise software without making that jump to SaaS. So what can we do with PeopleSoft and the footprint, the technology footprint that we've got today to really excite users, increase productivity, drive greater efficiency? There are so many things that can be done today with the pieces that you have already. So there's the Reconnect conference. We're also going to be participating in the Hug Europe conference that same week in Manchester, England. And then we also are participating in EDUCAUSE in Nashville that week and helping to support Virginia Community College System. VCCS has a presentation at that event. So if you're attending any one of those conferences, by all means, look us up. And then finally, I want to put a plug out there for GT Ignite 2026. This will be the first ever conference gathering of the Gideon Taylor user community. And it's a conference within a conference as part of the Hug Alliance conference being hosted in Orlando that first full week of March. So we're excited because there's going to be a dedicated Gideon Taylor track that focuses entirely on GT solutions and services. And I don't think that we've got all the content nailed down, but we are still entertaining sessions. So if GT Ignite is something that's of interest to you, let us know. We've got a form that you can fill out to submit a session idea, and I think the deadline for that, Alicia, correct me if I'm wrong, is next Thursday. So the clock is ticking on that. But a really great event. And of course, you can benefit from all of the great content at the Alliance Conference itself across all PeopleSoft applications. Some great networking and just some really awesome education opportunities. I think that Lynette posted a note in the chat. Next month's session is actually about GT 3.75, the upcoming release of GTE forms. We're excited about this latest release. And scheduled for release on Halloween. Thanks for putting that out there, Jay. I think next year we're going to have to come out with some major release on April Fools. Let's see how people respond to that. I've got one final question for the CCC team. You guys dove into the deep end with GT eForms on this project. Are there other ideas that you guys have for eForm solutions?
We got two in the works right now. I mean, just we're using forms, just creating the forms the old-fashioned way now. With we're doing one to update a preferred name, and we're doing one to update the something called pass-through. It's just additional course fees, right? Pass-through charges, course fees. So we plan on using the CIs for both of those too. So that's what we're working on now.
Right, but just to help with the internal workflow for like the pass-through, but the preferred name form is students will see it in their portal and request, and all of the workflow goes through CS or PeopleSoft so that everything gets approved in there and it's all kept in one place easily and quickly for updates.
Nice.
But we have lots of other ideas, but we want to make sure these are solid first, but very excited to keep using, creating these forms.
You bet. That's fantastic. Thank you, Laura, and thank you, Leo. All right, if there isn't anything else that folks have, let's see, was there one last thing? Oh, Alicia, you posted in the chat.
Yeah, I just posted the link in there if anybody is interested in submitting a proposal for GT Ignite. I will just make sure it's clear that if you have already submitted a proposal through HUG for the Alliance Conference, there's no need to resubmit that. We have all of those. We just wanted to give a little bit longer time for those that maybe didn't receive as many communications about it to have an opportunity to submit. So we are in the process of building out that the content and selecting what will be used during GT Ignite. So we're really looking forward to a robust group of clients and users presenting and sharing their success stories. So if you haven't, please pop on, submit a proposal. We'd love to consider that as we build out our content.
Awesome. Thanks, Alicia. I think that's it. So we're going to go ahead and call this a wrap. A very gracious thank you to everybody who participated today. Thank you to the folks at CCC. Thank you to the folks that were on the GT team. And congratulations on a really cool and exciting solution and the first of many, many more. So thanks, everyone. Have a great afternoon. Take care.